Do you believe you can do 30K a month?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What makes you so confident with that?
Because I have Desiree, Marlon, and my wife behind me.
And leads.
Yeah, and leads, exactly.
That
and
always
leads.
helps. Thank you for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. You know, we have my special guests for this week. We have Ruben Rubio. And where are you joining us out of, Ruben?
I live in Adelanto, California's 5 miles away from Victorville.
Okay.
So
yeah. Low, maybe probably an hour and a half from here.
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Out here in the LA office. We also have our special guest, and you've seen her before. We have Desiree Perez.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Joining us out of LA County.
Yeah. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Always good to have you. All right. So Ruben, I mean, we've met a few times, but haven't really got a chance to speak, but, not too much because, we've been kind of busy doing a couple of different things, but, this is a good opportunity for us to kind of get to know you a little bit. So, you're out from Adelanto. How long have you been here with Family First Life now?
Last week was my 4th week in FFL. So, okay. Yeah.
Okay. What'd you do before this?
I actually worked for a company called Breck Vending for a year prior. It's sales, and I was selling kind of a micro market, which is I would go into hotels and distribution centers and all that. And then it's like a little convenience store. So instead of, your average vending machines, I would try to sell them that convenience. And, so that's what I did. But prior to that, I honestly worked distribution centers and warehouses since I was 18. So
is that where they carve out like a little like area and then they sell like toothbrushes and drinks and stuff?
In hotels, yeah.
Okay.
But in distribution centers, then they sell like Monsters and all your little snacks and sodas and stuff. So.
Okay. So, and you've been doing that since you were 18?
No, I was working warehouse since I was 18. The sales job I did for only about a year. So okay. Yeah.
Good. So was that your first time in sales? Or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So this is your second sales job now, right?
Yes.
So you have a basis of comparison. So what's been the difference so far?
Well, the difference between FFL and what I did before, everything was cold calls. I had to go to the distribution centers, hotels. Nobody knew who I was. And the hardest thing was it was literally in the middle of COVID. So 90% of people, I wouldn't even let me in the door. Right. So that, right away, I was kind of difficult. But and obviously FFL, we have leads and, we have to purchase leads, but it's people looking for, what we're selling. So It's a lot easier with FFL for sure. But okay. Yeah.
So being that it's a little bit different, was there ever any concern or apprehension on your part as far as having to invest into leads?
No, not really. Only because of Desiree, because how she works with my wife for, 10 years. And my wife knew Desiree. Now, if we didn't know Desiree before that, then there might have been a little, apprehension. But, because my wife, I only met Desiree once before this. I stopped by the office and it was even before I think she was a manager. So I just stopped in probably to talk to my wife for a bit. And then so I met Desiree real quick. But yeah, and, my wife trusted her and, so that my wife trusts her. So I trust her.
So when you stopped off to talk to Desiree, were you at that point, were you thinking about coming over or did you just?
No, actually how it happened is actually my wife called Desiree to check in on her because she had already left her previous job working with my wife. And, they had a good working relationship and my wife just called to kind of check in to see how she was doing.
Right.
And then that's when Desiree kind of told her, how everything was going for her. And my wife is a real go-getter. She's very driven. And so right away, her thought was like, okay, how can I do this? And she's already making great money. She has a really good income and she loves what she does. And actually she's in, doing FFL part-time. So right away, my wife was like, okay, how can I do that? And then my wife and I were talking and then my wife was like, you can do this too. And I was like, yeah, let me, and then we kind of started watching videos literally as soon as she stopped. The day that, she spoke to Desiree.
Yeah.
And, we had a Zoom call, I believe, with Desiree and Marlon.
Yep.
And I think they were a little surprised because of how many videos we had already watched. But yeah, so we kind of knew what we were getting into just because of all the videos we were watching. Yeah. But so that
our videos. This is what I'm more
Yoel's videos because
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
so
cool.
yeah,
Just making
you're
sure.
you're famous. I knew who you were before I even met you today.
I was just making sure I didn't want you to watch like other agencies' videos. You know, it's very personal. to me.
No, elite for sure.
no, he stands behind his work. He's very proud of it, as he should be.
Yeah.
Right.
So Desiree, you as far as reaching out to Carmen, did she reach out to you or did you reach out to her?
It was mutual. I mean, because we always kept in contact.
Okay.
So we had somewhat of a outside relationship while we were working.
Right.
And even after I left the job, we still would keep in touch, every other day. How's it going? How are you? What's new? So once I got into FFL and the business and more like making money, well, I started, making money luckily right away. So I shared that with her, and right away she was very interested on the opportunity. Like, explain this, explain that. Like Ruben said, she's a go-getter. And anything like she puts her mind to, like she accomplishes. So quickly enough, like they took initiative to watch a bunch of YouTube FFL videos, training videos. And then we tied that into, my experience at that point, got on a Zoom call. So yeah, it wasn't even too much talking about it. It was just presenting the opportunity. They plugged in, I answered any questions, and we had the Zoom with Marlon, and they were in it.
Right. Well, I mean, you mentioned one thing that you luckily started making money right away, but it's not luck at all. It's because you followed Marlon's lead.
Yes.
You bought leads and you didn't waste any time. Like, so
Yeah.
if you take those like simple steps,
Mhm.
there's no reason why you're not going to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how long you been with us now?
3 months, 3 months and a week. So
Okay.
let's say 3.5 months.
Okay. And how much have you deposited so far?
Like throughout the whole.
Yeah. Ballpark.
Okay, so last month alone was over 18. First one, 10, 28, 20. Hold
You're
on.
asking her to do
Is
math.
there too much money? I can't keep track of all this.
It was about
You didn't tell her there'd be math.
I know.
no, it's fine.
Pop quiz on this one.
Over 50 already.
Over
so
50,000 in
over
3 months.
60.
Over 60 in
actually.
3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So someone new coming in, like you feel very confident telling somebody, like a
Yeah.
friend. So the thing is like when you bring in a friend or people that you've known for a while, you probably feel like there's a little bit more pressure because you want them to do well.
Yeah, we kind of discussed that last Zoom.
Yeah.
And so what I meant by like luckily I had made so many was kind of more like I feel like that supports the system that we have here and plugging in and the business overall.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just comes down to that. And as far as people that I know already, like I said last time, there's like a little bit more pressure, I want to see everyone come in and succeed right away. But when you know them, it's a little bit more pressure, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad pressure because it's always, if you didn't really believe what you're doing, like to bring someone in that you personally know,
Mhm.
it's you wouldn't want to damage that relationship.
Exactly.
So I mean, you have to believe that it's a legitimate thing and you actually could make money and it's actually more importantly reproducible.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, not to say that anyone that we didn't know prior, we don't care about, we don't want them to make money. It's a different dynamic. But the thing is, everyone can do this regardless of whether you know the person or not. As long as you come in and you follow the system.
Mhm.
I think it actually might be easier in some respects if you know the person because you know that it's like I know people sometimes have a little bit of a trust thing. There's kind of like, I know this is what they're telling me, but I don't know the full story of this whole thing. Like maybe there's something behind it for them, but then when it's people, it's like, I'm not wasting any time with this thing. I'm just gonna tell you straight up what it is. And that's the beauty of FFL. Like it's the same thing for everybody.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Because you know what that person's values are, or
Right.
their work ethic. Even that says a lot about them, and so there's that trust there.
Right. All right. So Ruben, with you, so what's your schedule look like now?
So right now I try to get minimum 5 appointments a day, for sure. And in the beginning I was only working or trying to work Monday through Friday. But now, I see that there's so much more money out there to get. So I'll do appointments Saturday and Sunday. Anytime I can get an appointment, I'm going to be there. So in the beginning, I think I limited myself a little bit. I thought I was all in, but I really wasn't, if that makes sense. But yeah, so now anytime I can get an appointment, I'm going to go. So that's kind of.
You working full time now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. A lot of times people say like, at first I wasn't all in, and I was kind of. But the thing is, as you continue to progress in this business or any business, and you see opportunity, you'll continue to recognize, hey, there's actually more that I can do, and then you get to a level where you get stronger, you get better, you're more efficient, and then you're like, there's actually even more that I can do, and even more than I can do. So I mean, it's kind of a nice feeling, because I still feel like after being in the industry for over 14 years. Being here with Family First Life for over 3.5 years, I still feel like I'm a baby. I still feel like there's a lot of things for me to continue to learn, and that's the beauty of this platform. At my last company, a lot of times I felt like, I think this is it. I think I've kind of like hit the most that I can do here because of either platform politics, whatever it may be. But I just didn't see any more. But here I'm like, every day I'm just like so optimistic and hopeful and just like joyful that like we can all do this together and we can all continue to grow. So
right.
Yeah. So as far as your schedule, what do you need what do you get in terms of leads for you to be able to run a full-time schedule?
I average, especially over the last 3 weeks, anywhere from 1,000 to maybe 1,300 a week on leads. That's helped out a lot. In the beginning, when I first started, again, my wife makes great money, but I didn't want to have to touch her income, what she's bringing in, because I pretty much, when I first started, I jumped in. I left my job that I had, for a year. I saw, what Desiree was doing, and I hoped and thought, I can do the same thing, especially from the get-go. So I pretty much did that. And then,
so how much were you spending at the beginning?
In the beginning, so what I did is I actually got a credit card, and a $2,000 credit card. So I bought a laptop because I didn't have a laptop. And then the rest of the money I spent on leads. And then I used that for the first couple of weeks. And, it really didn't go that well. And I finally got my first sale. And then once that came in, once that got deposited, I literally just used the whole thing on leads again. And then after that, I think it was kind of like a snowball effect, and I was able to, keep it going. So,
yeah, I think that's important, because sometimes people make their money and then, this is a lot of money for one sale and for pretty easy work.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole process is not easy because it's obviously it's hard work for you to run a business, but then the actual process of sitting down in front of a client that requested for information, to go over some options and then be an order taker, essentially. Takes about an hour process. You get paid the next day,
right? More
or less. So then I think most people, they make their money, then they're like, oh, cool, a couple $1,000, and then they go and spend it on their bills, or they go and take the family out for like dinner, go on a vacation,
celebrate.
And then obviously, how many kids do you got?
4.
So you didn't have that luxury to just think like, hey, I'm going to go and spend this on something stupid.
No, you know what? And again, I'm blessed because again, my wife, she makes enough for me to be able to make that jump, and me to kind of take that chance and make a little bit of money while I'm learning, and then eventually, I'll be able to help out a little bit more. But yeah, right now, everything I'm making, I'm just putting it back in. And but again, if I didn't have my wife there, then I would have to do things a little differently.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm lucky that she's there and able to help out. So.
Absolutely. So have you seen an increase in terms of your
for sure. Yeah, my first 2 weeks, I made 2 sales, maybe a total of like 1,600. And with Desiree's help, Marlon's help, and then even Carlos reached out to me.
Oh, great.
And which is amazing because he's not a part of my upline. He doesn't benefit with anything. If I succeed or if I fail, it doesn't mean anything to him. So, but he reached out to me, and he texted me and asked if he can have like a 10-minute conversation, and ended up being like a 60-minute conversation. And just knowing that there's other people out there that care, that you succeed, and it's not, there's no politics, there's no, nobody's thinking about themselves. And, just even on our group me chat, you're constantly seeing, people just happy for, everyone else's success. So, and again, so after the first 2 weeks, I did okay. I wasn't happy with it. And talking to Desiree and Marlon, and they kind of, told me what I was doing wrong or what I can improve on. And I listened to their advice. And, last week, within 2 days, I made, I don't know, 6,500. So last week was kind of like a jump start, and that felt really good. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. Appreciate you, Carlos Uizada.
Yep.
Always
Thank
helpful.
you, Carl.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as the first 2 weeks, did you start getting a little nervous when it didn't exactly go your way like you expected, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. And, I was at the end of the 2 weeks, I was almost looking at myself and saying, dang, do I have to go get another, like a regular 9 to 5 job and kind of do this on the side? And, but I kind of, my wife was there to support me, and she, she knew I can do it, and she kind of helped me through it. And then again, with Desiree and Marlon, and, and then at the end of the day, I kind of had to look at myself in the mirror and believe in myself and know I can do it. And it's worked out since. So.
Okay. So, and then as you continue to increase your lead flow, your obviously your appointment setting is probably getting better too.
Yes. And, I'm getting better on the phones as well. I think the first couple of weeks I was horrible on the phones.
I was too.
Yeah. So, that
We
I'm
all
sure
were.
had a lot to do with it, but, reading different scripts and, again, talking to Desiree and Marlon, and, it's really helped out a lot. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like you guys, have a really good teamwork, and you guys communicate often.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of it, because you're talking to two people that have had a lot of success with Desiree and Marlon.
Right.
And Desiree seems like she's always done well since the time she started. But Marlon came in, and he it's not that he did poorly, but then it took him a little bit of time for him to kind of ramp up to get to where he's at now. So,
right.
I mean, I'm real proud of. I'm always proud of people that don't start off with the best results, which is a lot of us, and then you kind of just continue to stick with it, and then you continue to put in the work, and eventually you'll get to where you need to get to. And you're nowhere near where you're gonna be eventually, as long as you continue to
Right.
do what you need to do.
Right.
So so let's go back. You said you made 6,500 the last couple of days.
Well, last week and 2 days. So last Tuesday, I did about 4,500, and then Wednesday, I think I did around 1,900,
Okay.
somewhere on there. So.
Okay. So how much have you had deposited within your 4 weeks that you've been here?
I was looking this morning in my bank account. It was about 7,000.
7,000. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then there's still stuff out there that hasn't hit my account yet that I'm
Right.
waiting on, but
Pending business.
yeah, but stuff that's in my account, 7,000.
Okay. What did you used to make at your old job?
So I made salary, and then I got a percentage on everything that I sold, very small percentage. So my weekly check was $650, and then my commission was probably I got maybe about another 700 a month on top of that.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
I'm making more in
3,000 for the month.
yeah,
Roughly.
take home. Yeah. And I make more in a day now, than I make there in a month. So
Right.
you-
That's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, do you believe you're going to make more, but you already have?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
So, so as far as the path that you are going with Desiree and Marlon, like what's your next step? Or just continue to produce? Or looking to build a team? Like, what's your ultimate goal?
I'm definitely wanting to build a team. So, in the beginning, for some reason, there was a little bit of confusion, and I wasn't, getting I don't know, what are they called? Those, when I make a sell and what is that thing? What is it called?
Your posts.
Yeah. So, for whatever reason, I wasn't getting
Spotlight.
my posts, and then I was asking Desiree, actually Desiree brought it up to Marlon, and Marlon looked into it. And then, so I finally got a post last week. And so I put it up, and I'm not a social media person.
Right.
I've never really been into social media. That's just not, but obviously being an FFL, I got to change a little bit. So, but I posted that, my last week's success, and actually, the top 10 or whatever we got today, I posted that, and then just last week when I posted that, I got maybe 3 or 4 people asking me, oh, like, what are you doing now? And
Nice.
so, just me constantly posting on social media, I think is going to help with that. And then I think it was last week I texted Desiree and asking her, I want to sit down eventually and see what she's been doing to recruit.
Right.
Because I know her and Marlon have been doing other things, and I kind of want to pick their brain and see, what else is out there to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
So as far as your post, I mean, that was the your recognition post from your sales.
Yes, exactly.
Was that the first thing you thought of when you were like, I got to post something?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, because you know, I can tell people what I'm making, but, you know, anybody can say, you know, whatever, but if, you know, they see it, or, you know, then that's something different. Then, you know, they're going to come to me. I'm not really like, you know, my brother, he lives up in Northern California. He makes an incredible income as well. He's very successful, family man. And now he's actually doing the course, and, you know, he wants to do it part-time because he's already, you know, making good money. But, you know, he sees what I'm doing, and then he knows, you know, if he can do that on Saturday and Sunday and bring in, you know, an extra couple thousand, you know, a weekend, then why not? So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I was actually talking to Yoel about this yesterday. We're going over like social media and everything. It's weird and awkward for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Including for myself, you know, because I've been posting a little bit more and more because I recognize it's not just strictly for my business, but it's also like, if you feel passion for what you do and you genuinely love what you do, you just want to share it with other people, because, you know, there's other people out there who might be looking for an opportunity. There might be people who, and there's a lot of genuine people in my life that genuinely support my success. I'm sure there's haters out there as well. So, I mean, you got to show off for them, you know, so like all these different things, like you learn to kind of become comfortable. And like the only way for you to get comfortable with something, you just got to be uncomfortable and just do it.
Right.
So, you know, I'm glad you took that first step. And, you know, as you continue to progress, I mean, obviously we got a guy like Yoel who you can reach out to as far as learning how to better utilize your social media and how to more effectively share.
Anytime goes for everybody.
It goes for everyone.
Appreciate it.
You know, and then, you know, you got a couple of leaders that are really that post, you know, very effective things. You know,
I'm still going to reach out to Yoel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just got to get creative too, because the thing is, like, sometimes people say, hey, what should I post? Or like, how often should I post? And it's just like, I don't know, just start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you got to tell your story, right?
Yeah. I actually reached out to Marlon too. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not, you know, that good at social media. And I asked him, you know, stuff that you post, tag me so I can just, you know, put what you post. And he's been pretty good at doing that. So that's helped me out a lot. So.
Yeah. Is Marlon on?
I don't know. Let me check.
Yeah, he got caught up in an appointment earlier. He was supposed to be in here today with us, but
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, I just wanted to kind of get his input. But is that something that you've been working with him too, Desiree? Working on his social media?
Yeah, I mean, so I've gotten acquainted and familiar with the FFL Spotlight. Super easy tool.
Right.
Like you can make a post in 30 seconds, literally. Right. Yep. So I got familiar with that. And then it's just about, you know, like you said, sharing other people's success, you know, everybody on the team, aside from your own, you know. So I think that, you know, that gives a certain appeal also to others outside of FFL. Right. You know, you're sharing stories of others and they're sharing you, and, you know, there's more credibility, I feel, when the variety is there. Yeah.
Speaking of which, last time you were on here, you're talking about you're doing your first travel trip.
Oh.
And you went to Mendocino County or something,
yes.
Right? Okay. How'd that go?
It was a great experience. It went well. I was there 2 nights. Okay. And it was like in the middle of the woods, literally. So I was by myself. Yeah. So I was a little bit scared at first, but after the you know, one night I felt like I lived there. Like it was comfortable. Got to meet, you know, some different people from the county. I visited a couple of restaurants also, like for lunch. But it was good, you know, I made money. And I'm ready for my next trip, honestly.
Yeah.
My next travel trip.
Because how many hours away is it from here?
It was 9 hours. So I flew. There's no way I was going to drive out alone.
Mendocino County,
up
Northern California.
Oh, got it.
North,
yeah. And then you just saw like a bunch of leads up there and you decided, hey, I want to go there.
Yeah. So it was a hot spot, bought all the leads there, and I was off.
Wow. So you said after the first day, after you got adjusted, you started to enjoy the city, right?
Yeah, because first day I was just like looking around, watching my surroundings, you know, just a little bit uptight because I was out there alone and whatnot. But I just got comfortable. So, you know, got to work, checked out a few local spots, and it was a great experience. Like I can't wait for my next travel trip. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, because I remember I bring this up because as we were talking about social media, I remember you posted like a really cool video about it.
Yeah, I had to share. Yeah, I had to.
Yeah, so, I mean, it seemed like a good time because number one, it looked like you're on vacation. But I mean, like that's the beauty of our job. We get an opportunity to travel anywhere in the United States. there's opportunity, like it abounds us. I mean, the thing is, we're not limited geographically to just our territory. So I mean, like Sean Mike always talks about, it's like when people say like, oh, there's not that many leads in my area, and he's like, what's your region, what's your territory? The United States.
Right.
Like, so you can literally go anywhere. So aside from the fact that there's opportunity to be able to purchase leads and go all these other places, you also get a chance to see the country. You also get a chance to like meet people from other areas that you like. Because would you have visited Mendocino County on your own?
No, so that's literally what I wrote in my reel. If it hadn't been for the opportunity to buy leads and go out there and serve families, I would have never even known this county existed for any reason.
Yeah, because I mean, in my short period of time here, like with Family First Life in 3.5 years, like I've traveled a lot, to go to get different states, different counties, go for meetings, for trainings, to meet agents, and sometimes I'm there and like it just boggles my mind. I'm like, why else would I ever have come here? Like, why I would never have this opportunity. And like I've enjoyed every moment of it. I've enjoyed all the people I've met. I've enjoyed all the experiences, and I'm like, I would have missed out on all this had it not been for what we have an opportunity to do here. And then everything that we're doing, like as you're building these relationships and you're gaining these experiences, you're only elevating your earning potential.
Yeah.
Because you're that much better because you've had that experience. If you stay stuck within just not just your physical location, you're staying like mentally within that location too. So you lack the opportunities to really grow. And that's the beauty of our business. Like it's not just the financial part of it, which is great, but it's just like the social part of it, and then also the business part of it. It's a great growing experience. So for anyone out there watching that you haven't done a travel trip yet, or you feel like there's not enough leads in your area, like just go on travels, go on, give it a shot. Like you're not going to regret it. Like even if you don't make the exact amount of money that you're looking for, the thing is you're still going to gain something from it. And it's all part of growing. It's all part of just building up. So as far as your post about the your travel trip, did anyone reach out to you and say, where'd you go, what were you doing?
Yeah, I have 2 friends who actually reached out and asked a little bit about the opportunity. So I sent them the Rogue IMO video, and one of them started actually pre-licensing a while back. So she's continuing because it's also through Excel Solutions. And the other one's probably going to start pre-licensing soon.
Which we pay for the pre-licensing. So for anyone that doesn't have a license yet, we'll pay for the pre-licensing part.
And at one point, that pre-licensing is one that I paid for when I started off.
Right. Yeah, I had to go in person back when I did like 14, 15 years ago.
I didn't know any better. I didn't know about FFL.
So you can get licensed online?
You can do all the pre-licensing training, the course, the certification course before you take your exam.
The exam isn't online. Okay.
The exam itself. I mean, well, it was online during the pandemic.
I actually did do it online.
Oh wow. Oh, because it was
But you're being watched and everything. You have to show your surroundings.
Yeah, my wife did hers online too, and she literally had to pick up the computer and do circles and show the closet and bathroom and all that stuff. So, and then my wife said that she had her hand on her face, and they literally typed, "Get your hand off your face." And I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, they're trying to prevent you from cheating.
Well, what on your cheek though? Like I don't understand.
Maybe you have it written. Maybe you have it written. Like,
they're pretty
maybe she got the spy tech. Who knows? Yeah. But you got licensed for this, right? Like, were you licensed prior to coming in?
No, I Desiree and Marlon kind of hooked me up with that, and so I got licensed and got hooked up with carriers, and then I started working.
Okay.
Ohio and Oklahoma are still virtual, apparently.
Oh, there's got to be a few states. I mean, so
it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's good to know.
Right. So what's your next step aside from just growing a team? Like, what do you ultimately want to, like, what's your long-term goals here with Family First Life?
Honestly, this is kind of a generic answer, but to help as many families as you can and make as much money as possible doing it. I think that is this, we are in a unique position because there's not many people, maybe other than doctors and, stuff like that can literally say that they help people and make the type of money that we are able to make.
Right. So
to me, that's just insane. Like, me not having any prior experience, me not, I didn't go to school. as soon as I was 18, I started working because I had my first kid when I was 18. Didn't have a choice, so I didn't go to college. Just started working, and now I'm able to do this at 36 years old for the first time, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So what do you hope to make by the end of the year?
By the end of this year, to be honest, I would like to average at least 30K a month. And then, because I started out, maybe 5 months in, right? Maybe 5 months in. So at least, 200K, and then starting next year, the sky's the limit.
Do you believe you can do 30K a month?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What makes you so confident with that?
Because I have Desiree, Marlon, and my wife behind me.
And leads.
Yeah, and leads, exactly.
That always helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, having a support goes without saying. Having good support always is a great thing. Goes without saying. But I mean, most of it is you. It's still you putting in the work. Because if you're not willing to put in the money for the leads, you're not willing to invest into your business. You're not willing to put in the work to call, set your appointments, go out and see them. I mean, nothing happens. Doesn't matter how great they are, which they're great. But
yeah. That's you could take a horse to the water or something, but not make them drink. So. However that saying goes, I don't know.
That's right. I think.
Yeah, I think it is right.
All right. Oh.
Yeah, and you're drinking.
Yeah. As much as I can.
All right, great. And then, do we have Thomas on?
He messaged me, so let's take a look.
Yeah.
See how he's doing. How to get off at my appointment. Are you free now?
Oh wow, this is real time
I know.
scheduling right now. This is hilarious.
No, he had a 2:00 appointment, he said.
Got it.
So I'm just checking in to see.
That's right. I mean,
ended early.
if he's
This
not,
was
if
his
he's not-
appointment.
Yeah.
I
He didn't put you first as priority here.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as he continues to keep writing, we'll make some time for him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, so what's your next step? I mean, you've continued to grow your team, and then it's just exciting to watch unfold because you're bringing in more and more people that you personally know are starting to come into, which makes it a lot more fun too.
And since our last meet, which was less than a month ago, I have two new hires, so I'm super excited for that. One of them's already writing. Well, one of them's already out in the field, so already buying leads. This was his first week, so super excited for him. Can't wait for his first sale. And just continuing to grow, to build. I love leading, honestly. Training, developing people, and watching them win is the ultimate satisfaction that I get. But just continuing to push myself out in the field, my numbers, my production, get better each month, produce more, and also, lead a team and grow my team.
Process is fun, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Because I remember when you came on board, you were just talking about you just wanted to produce, and you weren't too much worried.
I said
about
that.
And you changed your mind really quickly because you just see
I just seen, like I said last Zoom, it's so doable, and I mean, I'm sure people have the reasons why they choose not to, but for me, it's just like, why wouldn't I want to?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely just see how on what trajectory that you and Marlon and your whole team is on, because everyone comes in on the same page, and it's not you don't make it confusing at all. These guys come in like, hey, you got to buy leads.
Yeah. And I have some really good people, on my team. I mean, everyone's good in their own way, but I'm super proud, I can honestly say, like, they're really plugging in, they're taking the initiative, they're communicating with me, on the daily, and buying leads and following the system. So, that motivates me also.
Right. Well, I think you and Marlon just set a great example, because there's just no way people can doubt that there's not money to be made if they're watching you make money, watching Marlon make money, watching you guys put in work, and you guys have been great with your social media and like just letting people know like what's been going on, as opposed to keeping everything secret and not concealing all the secret information for you guys to succeed. Like you guys get it. Like you guys know that there's an abundance of opportunity here.
Yeah.
And everybody has an opportunity to win as long as you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah. So just sharing the opportunity, and whoever wants to win and wants to plug in, they'll go far.
Right. All right.
How many agents do you have?
I have 8 now.
8 now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many are like personal and how many are like outside of personal?
1, 2, 3, 3 personal, maybe soon to be 4, and
Okay.
then 5
From,
5 from a recruiting.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, yeah, I've every time I bring people that I know into it, like I used to get a little bit nervous, but now I'm just feeling like better and better about it because I'm like, this is the right platform for people to come into. So long as they got the right mindset, they're willing to work. If they're coming in thinking, oh, I'm hooked up because I know this person, I can't do anything for you.
No, so yeah, I explained the business structure, the platform that's offered here at FFL, and see if it's suitable for them. If they're suitable for FFL, and most of the time it's just they understand that it's just up to them how far they want to go and plugging in, and if they want it, they get it.
Well, let's go to your hiring process then. So
Yeah.
When someone reaches out to you or you reach out to them, like how does that work?
So first off, I get familiar with how much they actually know about FFL, right? Get some knowledge on like what they're doing, what they're used to, what the background is, and what they're looking for, in an opportunity, financially and long term. And then from there, if they haven't seen the Rogue IMO video, I make sure that they watch that because it's literally A through Z in 15 minutes. So everything is touched on in there. After that, I answer more in-depth questions, concerns, and I lay it out for them. This is a foundation. This is how you plug in, 80%, 15%, 5% of the business is composed of this and that. How are you feeling on that? And just get some feedback. And does this seem doable? And ask some more specific questions, and we go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the videos I think is like scaled down to 13 minutes now at this point.
There you
But
go.
I mean, but it's effective. You watched the video?
Yes.
Okay, so she shared it with you too.
Mhm.
I mean, I was just talking to Cheppy about this earlier because he's when he said he's hiring and he's building his team too. But I remember he used to tell me about that story when he first came on board. He was introduced to me through a mutual friend of ours, and then he was like, "Hey, when can we meet?" I was like, "Oh, check out this video." So I sent him the video link. I like explains everything about our company, breaks everything down. You'll have a much better idea of how everything works, and then we'll talk after, and I can answer all your questions. So focus on what you want. And he's like, "Okay." And then like he'll text me the next day, and he's like, "Hey, when can we meet?" I'm like, "Did you watch the video yet?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Watch the video first, and then let's talk." And he's like, "Okay." And then he texted me the next day. He's like, "Hey, can we meet up now?" And I'm like, "Did you watch the video yet?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, just watch the video first, because like a lot of the questions that you probably have and you're going to ask me, it's all covered in that video, right? Everything was covered in the video.
So
right?
informative.
Yeah. So that
It's like when someone does like doesn't do like the reading for class, and then they're like, "Hey, what up?" And it's like, "Did you do the reading for class the day before?"
Well, I mean, it's not even to be dismissive.
like
It's not that I don't want to talk about it, but I'm like, if that video is so informative, it's like, why do we need to have me mess it up potentially and not and forget to
or miss
explain
something.
Right. Yeah. So as long as we keep that process simple. So then once they watch the video and they talk to you, then what do you do?
So then I kind of give them an idea or like a timeline, if you will, on what the next steps are.
Yeah, let's say they're not licensed yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if they're not licensed, I guide them to pre-licensing and then applying for license. And then as soon as their license posts, doing the whole onboarding, which is, I mean, Joanne does a great job. We have that welcome aboard email, steps 1 through 9. It's all there. So, and I just make sure that I support them throughout that process. Right. And, I let them know, I paint a picture and I give them an idea like, hey, as soon as your license posts, if they're non-licensed, you get appointed with the carriers, you'll get your first carrier within 2 days and potentially just start making money.
Right.
That's how fast, and I make it very clear this is going to be as fast as you take it also. Right. You're driving the car here. I mean, I'm here, but you're driving the car. And same thing for licensed, hires, just except they're already licensed. So it's even that much more quicker, okay. Get appointed with the carriers and that's it, know. So I give them an idea of, timeline as far as steps, and I paint a picture for them, like after this is that, and you can start making money like this quickly or not.
Right. Setting those expectations are important too, because obviously we can't do the course for them.
Yeah.
And the course is not fun, right?
No, it's I don't know. And the guy that is kind of explaining everything, he was a little boring too. He was.
But the material is boring, so just
Yeah.
disclaimer: it's not supposed to be fun, but it's for you to be able to make more money, to understand our business, and to understand it's a highly regulated industry, and we have to go through these steps. But the
Mhm.
thing is, part of it is the good communication to continue to maintain contact with them, so they get through it faster.
Mhm.
Because when you get bored, sometimes it's really easy for you to kind of lose focus and be like, whatever, I don't know if this is worth it. But if you see her money, the money that she's making, and you
Yeah.
continue to like see the time and effort that she's putting into it, like it's hard not to like follow through, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I also, I share my experience, even like with what was the pre-licensing, and I let them know, like, this is what works for me and preparing for the exam. It may or may not work for you, but hey, if it does, use it. So I give them ideas also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, that's, and then once they get contracted, if you're talking to somebody, they say like, do we have to buy leads? What's your answer?
Oh yeah. So that's one of the things we make very clear, in explaining the business structure, that we have, the platform we have here, leads, comp, and, just as far, even going into detail with the CRM map, the leads, where to find them, how they go by counties, how you can see how many are available in each county. So I touch up on that also. So it's made very clear,
Mhm.
and we do a lead strategy call, so after they're done with boot camp, which they do while they're waiting for the appointment with the carriers, we have a lead strategy call and say, okay, when is our first dial day? Okay, we're going to buy leads, this many days in advance. We're going to stack up some to prepare you for that dial day so that you have enough, and go over, phones and scripts, and which is all really that training is provided in all of the videos. We have great videos of people who do very well, better than I on the phones. So that's already set up. But I like to have that strategy call,
Right,
and prepare them for their first dial day.
Yeah. So I mean, it's unrealistic for us to just hire somebody and be like, all right, you figure it out.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's people that are going to be more self-starters than others,
Right, of course.
but I mean, I'm definitely there to support and guide and where it's needed. And
So just like with the field with Ruben, has it gotten easier for you to hire? Like, do you have a better understanding now on how to go through each methodical step?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a very organized person. So like, I have files for different steps. So like any new hired, licensed and non-licensed, I kind of have my steps, my checklist, if you will. And then just repetition, having already hired a handful, I just kind of repeat the process and tweak it here and there when I need to.
Yeah. I mean, it gets easier. I definitely know this from the time I started, because I used to overthink things and think about, I need to do this for this person. I need to do this for this person. And then it got to the point where I'm like, I'm babying some people.
Yeah.
In which, you think like, oh, I must mean I care so much about this person, but where it's actually counterproductive, because we're hiring them to be business owners and
Mhm.
independent contractors, not for them to come and be our employees.
Exactly.
And I recognize how much it's gotten easier, because now with experience and just repetition, exactly what's important, what's not.
Yeah.
And then you also don't have to think about it, because Marlon used to call me all the time when he started, and he'd be like, what's the next step here? Or then he started hiring people, and he's like, what did they do here again? And what did they do here again? And like,
Mhm.
now he doesn't have to call me for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now when he calls me, it's just more about talking about his business and how to continue to grow his thing. So
Yeah. And not only that, we have so many resources like the Google Drive and the videos, like I mentioned before. So we also, I get into the habit of just redirecting them so that, hey, later down the line, if they ever want to grow their business, they also are so familiar with the resources and where they are and how to get to them.
Right.
So yeah.
So they can continue to replicate themselves and
Yeah.
people down. So I mean, that's how you can build a big business. It's not, just keep it very simple. Like, don't overthink it. Just work on the areas that are going to be bringing you the most return. And as long as we continue to do that, I mean, we all have that opportunity. And you can always go in the group chat if you guys ever get stuck and just ask a question. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that group chat.
me too. It's made my job a lot easier too. which is part of the process. We want to develop people. So then it just makes me like happy, because if other people are answering, that means they know how to do this business.
Mhm.
And it just means it's not just like me. It's like it's everyone literally can participate if they choose to.
Yeah.
So we all can continue to strive to get to understand our business better. And then the more we can do that, the more people that we can help.
Mhm.
And if we all just continue to do that, we're going to be unstoppable as a group, because obviously, we care about one another. We care about each other's success. I mean, there's not the whole cutthroat nature that a lot of business organizations tend to have.
Yeah.
And we see the bigger picture. So let's continue to do what we need to do. All of you guys out there, and if you guys need any help, just make sure you guys reach out. You guys got rising stars here with Desiree and Ruben, and hoping to get more and more of you guys on here with your guys' success of 20,000 plus a month, because we're blessed. We're definitely blessed. So
For sure.
any last things you guys wanted to share with the group before we sign off here?
Not really. I mean, just, anybody new, just know that it's possible, just continue to put in the work and, apply yourself. And when you get there, you're going to look back and say, oh, okay,
Right.
it was possible.
Yeah.
And just keep going up. And, anyone who's been here, I mean, if you're not seeing the results yet that you want, just, tweak a few things, put in the work, follow the system, and you'll achieve whatever it is you're trying to hear.
And real quick, speaking of leads, one person I spoke to before I got into FFL, after I was kind of in the process, was my brother-in-law, because he worked, he was licensed about, 20 plus years ago, working for another company. And, I told him about the leads, and that's not something that he ever did. And, he was amazed, and he said, he wished he had that back then he would have been a lot more successful. And he's not in the business anymore. He's moved on just because he just couldn't work with that company anymore for whatever reason. But leads are extremely important. So
Great advice. So before we sign off, I just wanted to Joel and I went out shopping yesterday for new equipment and stuff. And we got a chance to talk about
Nice.
his business. And then so it made me really think about our business. So then the thing is, we talked to some real experts that for camera equipment and video equipment, and I'm just listening to rattle off all of these like facts that just went way over my head. I'm like, I don't like anything you're talking
I
about.
wouldn't.
Maybe like
either.
5% of what you're talking about. But then I'm like, it's kind of cool how much passion these guys have for their business, and like how much big of nerds they are in their respective fields. And then like, the thing is, like, I've just seen the progression that Yoel has made from the time that he started here last year in August to where he's come now. Like, you just see it in the production of his work, right? And the quality of his work. And that's similar to how like I feel like my limited amount of time here is like, it has nothing to do with the fact that and all that stuff you can learn, but it's just by doing it, just by getting in the reps and just putting in the work. And if you continue to do that, like eventually you start to pick these things up. And then people sometimes like they put so much stock into having knowledge, but the knowledge that I've acquired over the years, I mean, I like to think it's pretty voluminous. I like to think I've picked up a lot of useful stuff, but the reality, that's not the reason why I've had any success here. It's not because I know this and this person doesn't. I think the biggest difference, and for everyone that's on here, like, this is the skill that all of you guys can have. You just have to outlast your problems. That's it. Like, we all encounter problems. We all have issues. We all come up with things that seem, insurmountable. But the thing is, as long as you keep the right mindset, just recognize like this thing will pass too. We're all going to get past whatever this current challenge is, because it just will.
Mhm.
The thing is, if you give up, you never give yourself the opportunity for you to be able to succeed. So as long as you continue to focus on, all right, well, I can't deal with this right now. I can't overcome it. Let's just continue to work on the other things that will continue to yield me results. Like, for me to continue to get mentally stuck on this one problem and get paralyzed by it, you're not going to move forward. And then eventually that thing is going to continue to weigh on you and weigh on you and weigh on you until the point where you get crushed by it. And then you quit, and you decide to go do something else. You crawl under a rock. Who knows what you're going to do? So just keep that mindset. Just recognize that you don't need to be perfect. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have moments in which we feel very vulnerable. We feel like we're not going to be able to overcome this. But as long as you outlast it, and that's just part of just building that. And there was points in my career before, I didn't think I could do that because I just focused too much on the wrong things.
Mhm.
I didn't focus on my blessings. I didn't focus on the things that actually brought me results. So, I got stuck at times. And, I think that's the biggest thing I've gained over the course of time, just that knowing that I don't need to focus on those things. And I'm in control. And as long as I continue to put in the work and focus on other things, I will eventually get past them. That's the reason why I'm at this point now. Not that I'm any huge success at this point, but, I know that it will continue to grow because I can't be stopped if I focus on those things.
Yeah, mindset.
Mindset, so.
Everything.
Well
So
said.
hopefully that helps some of you guys, and make sure that you guys continue to, go out there and just try to serve other people. If you just do that, take the focus off yourself, you're gonna give yourselves opportunities to continue to succeed. So just want to thank all you guys for getting on. Appreciate you coming on, Ruben.
Thanks for having
All right,
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
you.
me again.
always. So we'd love to have you guys back. So let's have a great week, guys. Let's go out there and help as many people as we can and continue to grow, and see you guys next week.